Okay, I think we're up and running. Let's see. Let's tilt that slightly. There we go. Right. Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 2nd of April. We are moving through the year very, very quickly, and what a month March was. But we have a very exciting month here at the clinic, or clinics for April. So it is actually our 5th anniversary of the original clinic opening here at Places of Leisure in Eastleigh. Had the business running for a couple of years before that, helping a lot of people, but more as on my own, treating by myself in different places and from my parents' house at one stage. So that was really interesting. But it's 5 years since we started here at the original clinic here in Eastleigh, which our original room is now our wellness room. So we've grown massively. And we are celebrating the fact that it is our birthday, and there'll be more to come on this as we go through the month. We have some really cool offers. We have some really cool free things to win, and some stories to come out over the last 5 years of where we were to where we are now, and what we've managed to achieve, but also who we've been able to help over that time frame. So that's really cool. This month is very busy for me personally as well. I fly to Miami on Tuesday for the week. I've been invited out to Miami. I'm the only UK therapist to be invited out to Miami for the week and get to speak with other therapists from the US and some of the top clinicians out there. So very excited for that. I am also very proud to say that I get to take my dad with me, and it's a bit of a full circle moment because about 12 years ago, my family, my dad and my mum took us to Miami on holiday. So it would be really cool to take him there and experiencing it. Just him and I. It's the first time we would have traveled abroad, just the two of us. We haven't done a trip of any note, I would say, just the two of us. So going to be really, really interesting. Got some cool things planned while we're out there as well. And then come back from that. I'm here for 2 weeks and then go back out to the US for an event in LA, which I am very excited to go to as well. So that'll be very, very interesting, but more on that as we go forward. So next week, do expect some posts, some social media, some emails about the trip out in Miami and the exciting experience I get to go on. It's also my 30th birthday this month. So yeah, very big month personally and also for the clinics. But enough about what's going on with me. Let's see what questions are coming. And before we do that, something just to talk about a little bit. If you're struggling with back pain, sciatica, and it's affecting the quality of your life, it's affecting your mobility, it's affecting whatever it is for you and impacting you in whatever way that might be, we have 3 free educational classes happening this month on back pain and sciatica. I believe it is Saturday the 18th of April at 10 o'clock. We have one in our Eastleigh clinic and we have one in our Portsmouth clinic on the following Wednesday. So I think that's like the 22nd. But we have Eastleigh and Salisbury taking place on the 18th. So if you're interested in coming to one of our free educational classes to learn more about what's going on with back pain, sciatica, what you can do at home, what the best strategies are to manage and then treat and eradicate the issue so you don't get a reoccurrence rate of this, let us know. You can give us a call on 07368 286 175, or you can send an email to info@activemotion.uk and request more information and get your seats booked. Hi to those saying hi on YouTube. That's really cool. It's the first time we've actually had people interacting and leaving comments. So amazing. If you have any questions about how to change the quality of your life, suffering with aches and pains, mobility issues, then do let us know in the comments. Let's see what we can answer. But one of the things I want to come onto this call and video and live to talk about today is a question I had to ask a patient recently. And it's a very heavy hitting question. It's a very heavy hitting topic, but I think a lot of people, especially those over 50, need to really listen to this. And that's, if you keep losing strength at the rate that you are, strength, mobility, whatever that might be. Who will you be in 5 years from now? Who would you be in 6 months from now? And the reason why I want to pose that is because we genuinely just think our quality of life will be the same in 5 years' time if we just keep doing what we're doing. The problem with that is we have a natural decline over time. Age, yes, I don't like to use that as a reasoning, but we naturally slow down. We do less. We eat less protein. We're less mobile, and that then leads to less movement at each joint, and that leads to less strength. So if we're not doing active things to build our strength and mobility up, where will you be in 5 years' time? We'll circle back around to that. To answer a couple of questions, no, I'm not a dentist. I am a physical therapist and musculoskeletal clinician. We have a clinic in Salisbury in a dental practice. That might be some of the confusion there. I have De Quervain's. I have osteoarthritis in my spine. I've been offered titanium rods, but I think that's a risk. I'm 50 and okay, but how do I slow the progress of it down? Okay, now that is a question that I'm gonna try to address here. So we have osteoarthritis in your spine. I've been offered titanium rods. What that will do is fix your positioning so you can't move from those joints, and in theory takes the load off. I'm 50 and okay. How do I slow down the progress? When you say okay, are we in grave, like we're in significant amounts of pain, but you can manage it, or have we got mobility issues? Have we got strength issues? What's going on from that? So I'm gonna take a little bit, try and draw some context to this. But if you are able to deal with the day-to-day pain, then I would be putting that operation off for as long as possible. If you don't know anything about me, I have a degenerative knee. I have done since I was 13. I had failed operations, 2 failed injections, and I got offered a second operation, which was 6 months of learning to walk again. That was over 10 years ago, and I've put it off for as long as I possibly can for a couple of reasons. One, I know I'm going to need a knee replacement anyway, and the uptake and success rate of that operation will be a lot less. Not in pain, but mobility is slowing down. Okay, we'll come on to that in a second. So the uptake of any further surgery that I'm going to need is going to be a lot less because of the trauma I would have already been through. But also, for me, a knee replacement lasts 20 years, so I've got to put it off for as long as I possibly can. Do I think that surgery is required in certain instances? Yes, but can we put it off? Can we make you stronger, more mobile, which improves the quality of your life? But also, if you then need the surgery later on down the line, you're in a better place for it. So let's say you're currently here. If you can build your strength and mobility to here, post-surgery, you'll drop down to here. Whereas currently you're going to drop down to here and be worse off for a period of time than you are now. So let's address the not in pain bit. Great, that's amazing. So I would definitely not be taking the surgery at that point. You'll be worse than you are better for a period of time. Mobility is slowing down, and they said my vertebra has fused together. It's progressing to my knees. What do you mean by it's progressing to your knees? If we're talking about the vertebra fused together, that's what they're going to do with the spinal rods anyway. So what's the point? We can keep the other joints as mobile as possible, including your knees, including the other vertebra in your spine. And I would be looking at everything possible to do with that. There's some videos on our channel about spinal mobility. There's links to how you can interact with us for a video call to see what you could be doing to do that. But I would be looking at mobility exercises and strengthening up around that as much as possible. I'm taking this as your lower back, so I'd be looking at pelvic mobility, knee mobility, hip mobility, and glute strength in particular. That's where I would be on that personally. I'd be really looking at how perfect. I would be looking at how strong I can get my glutes and my legs in particular to be able to deal with more of the load and demand and take it off my lower back. The other thing I'd look at is upper back mobility. The more mobile you are there, the better mechanics you're going to have and load transfer you're going to have. So great question. There's always room for hand holding if you need it, and reach out to us if you do. But check out the videos. There's some mobility stuff in there. There's some glute strengthening stuff in there. Is it, when you're saying it's slowing down, is there any particular daily activities that you're massively struggling with? And we'll circle back to that one. If the individual with De Quivens is still on the live, let's have a little bit more about what's going on there with your thumb tendon, and we can see what we can advise there as well. But let's use your situation with the osteoarthritis. If you keep losing strength and mobility at the rate that you are, where will you be in 5 years? I think you already kind of know that in your head. You need to start to look at what you can do to change, and otherwise you wouldn't be on this call and asking that question. So at this moment in time, your rate of decline will be to the point where you do need to have that surgery. And I don't even know if that surgery will be of overall benefit longer term for you. But you can do everything in your power, in your means between now and then to keep your mobility up as high as you can, your strength up as high as you can, keep your other joints working as much as you can. When I'm at work, I'm an electrician, I fix a socket and then I can't stand up as my knees start to freeze. Okay, so there is some, I'm going to put a video out on actually getting up from the floor and practicing it. The more you practice it, the better it will become. What happens is we find it difficult and we then only do it when we need to. And so actually we lose the ability to do it. And let's talk about it this way. Hopefully you get the gist of what I'm going to show you. But if I turn to here and it becomes painful, so I turn to here, it's a 6 out of 10 for pain, and I don't keep going back there, actually my range of motion for my neck will get less and less and less, and I'll only then be able to turn to here before it becomes stiff and painful. And this is a similar process with the getting up from the floor. If we don't repetitively keep training it, we will lose the ability to do it, and it will get harder and harder to do, more stiff, more painful, more uncomfortable. And then lack of power to get up from the floor as well. So look at the strength exercises that for your legs that I've put out recently. There was one yesterday, I think, about 3 minutes a day to build your leg strength. I will put a post out this evening about mobility, getting up from the floor. I think that's going to be really, really key for you, actually. So thank you for the questions, and thank you for the support on the live, and let's see where this journey takes you. And if you need any support, then reach out to us. Any other questions, do drop them in the chat. We're on YouTube answering questions at this moment in time. Facebook, Instagram, you can also ask questions as well. There's a big misconception around strengthening and mobility training that you need hours in the gym every day. You don't. You really don't. Okay, I do 20 minutes a day at home with, I have some bands, I have some dumbbells, I normally use a chair, but I could do everything that I choose to do with body weight. You don't need amples of time, and you don't need a huge amount of equipment, okay? You can do it from home with the right structured plan for you, knowing where your limits are at this moment in time and putting goals in place to move those limits further away. So what I mean by that is, currently, if you're struggling to get up from the floor, you'll struggle to do a lunge all the way down to the floor. But could you do a lunge halfway? Could you do a lunge a quarter of the way, aiming for halfway, then aiming for the ground, and having that stepping stone progress in place? And literally 15, 20 minutes every day, which is achievable. Some people will say I don't have the time. To me, that's a priority issue, and their level of mobility and pain doesn't outweigh where they currently are in terms of their physical limitations, and it's not enough of a pain point physically or to their quality of life for them to actually do something. So 15 minutes every day can be enough to change the quality of your life. It can be enough to improve your mobility, improve your strength. Over 50s, you not need to be in a gym building strength. Under 50, you don't have to be in a gym building strength. You need the right tailored plan with the right intensity. So if you don't want to be pushing really heavy weight, we just do more reps. That's all it comes down to. But the consistency over time is going to be better. For me, doing 20 minutes every day and forming that habit to do it is better than 3 times a week for an hour. because I will put it off and not do it out once, then I don't have the tool, wrong finger, don't have the consistency, and I have this. Whereas little and often over time builds compound interest. Same thing, okay? You get the build up and it compounds, and actually you go start off like this and then you go like this. So if you can find a mobility routine to do every day for 15-20 minutes that helps you get up from the floor, you're going to see a massive change in the quality of your life over 6, 12, 18-week period. I can assure you of that. But it's down to you being consistent and disciplined to be doing that. Let's look at the next thing that's come in is, do I prioritize taking my medication for aches and pains so that I get good quality sleep, or am I better off not taking the painkillers so that I'm not masking the issue? Because I'm a big advocate of getting off the painkillers as quickly as possible, because all it does is mask the issue. If we have somebody coming into our clinic and they're on cocodamol or codeine, amitriptyline, gabapentin, all of these different things, pregabalin, we're going to work as quickly as possible to get them off of those things, because that's just masking the issue and you're not actually seeing the level of pain that you're in, but also we're not seeing the true change over time, because the painkillers are masking half the symptoms. The other thing that we work towards very quickly is sleep recovery. So if your pain is affecting your sleep at this moment in time, or your aches or your stiffness or whatever it might be, we want to get sleep quality back as quickly as possible. The quicker you get your sleep quality back, the more you feel like yourself as a whole, but also you recover more. We do our most amount of healing while we're asleep. So if we are struggling with sleep, we're not going to feel like ourselves, we're not going to recover it as well as we could do. Would I prioritize coming off a medication or using the medication to sleep? Right now, I would try and come off the medication at other points of the day, but use the nighttime medication to be able to sleep. Now, there's a really interesting point here. We get people that are like, I take my painkillers just before I go to bed, I still wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, what if you didn't take the painkillers before you went to bed, but you had them by your bedside, so when you do wake up, if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you take the painkillers, then you can get back to sleep. If we're currently waking up 3 times a night and we can get you waking up once a night, it's a better night's sleep overall. Okay, so very conflicting, because we like to get you off of painkillers and have a better sleep quality. But at times we need to use the medication to be able to get better sleep quality, but it doesn't mean that we can't start weaning off the medication in the daytime, for example. And then we start reducing down the amount of medication you take to be able to sleep as well. Hopefully that makes some sense, because it's a little bit of around the houses confusing talking there. So yeah, but if you have any other questions, do put them in the chat. And if not, I'm going to just use the ones that have come through on Instagram, email, clients that I've seen over the week, and hopefully give you some more insights into what you could be doing with things. Now, this one is very interesting, because this is one that came to me from a client recently. We offer a free consultation at the clinic to make sure it's something that we can help you with. And they came in for a free consultation and they said, what if I try everything and nothing works? So that comes down to fear of failure for me, that we're thinking that nothing's going to work for me. I've tried everything, and that comes down to fear of failure. It comes down to catastrophizing in a way. So there's a mind strength issue there. I have a mentor who doesn't use the word mindset, because it's a fixed thing, and we use mind strength because we can build it, and just like your body, we can build your physical strength, we can build your mental strength. But worst case scenario, if you try everything, something's going to improve something slightly, and you need to analyze it and double down on it. But also, I would rather try everything and nothing work than try nothing and not know what benefits I could get. So I would be trying to exhaust all avenues and do everything I possibly could to improve my mobility, my strength, my independence, rather than waiting to see if anything changes by doing nothing. I'd rather have the answer that I've tried everything than have the regret of doing nothing. Right, that is my 3 things for the honesty hour this week. If you have any questions, all right. So here's a question: how do I sleep good? What do you mean? What's waking you up? What is it? Mental? Is it physical? What's keeping you up? Alex, I believe, on YouTube. Noises. What do you mean by that? Things around you? External noises? Birds? Trees? What is it? If you need to decrease the things external that are keeping you up at night, use some earplugs. Earplugs are great. White noise is great. Use an audiobook. My other half goes to sleep to an audiobook, and she can zone into that rather than the noises outside. Loops. There's a company that sell little, they're like earbuds, but they're not the comfy things. They're not the squishy like earbuds that get stuck in your ear. They're called loops, and they can reduce down the noise as well, enough to help you sleep. But you can still hear enough to know where you are, if you see what I mean. Because if you use earbuds, they get stuck and you get completely stuck. Cool. Any other questions before we wrap this honesty hour up? Next week, like I say, I'm traveling next week. I am in Miami for the week, and I will be doing the honesty hour on Monday, even though it's bank holiday here in the UK. I will be doing the honesty hour on Monday at 2:00, and then Thursday next week I'll be in the US, but I will hopefully have a nice sunny background that I can do this on rather than the clinic room. So stay tuned for that one, and we will bring up speed. I'm a musculoskeletal clinician, Alex. That's what I am. I own a 3-clinic practice here in the UK, in the south of England, but I'm a musculoskeletal clinician. So any other questions, let us know. You can message us, send them via email to info@activemotion.uk. You can leave a comment on Instagram, on Facebook, send us a message. We'll bring them up at the next talk, which is Monday, 2:00, for the next episode of the Honesty Hour.